Hey everybody, hey everybody, it's Steve the Amateur Story and it's 4:15 a.m. But I'm awake because I have a propensity now of going to bed somewhere between 6 and 7 a.m., which is funny because I've always thought, despite the better pay, I'd never want to be a graveyard employee, and yet I pretty much have graveyard hours now. I pretty much sleep from what? I pretty much sleep from like 6:30 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. So you know what? Maybe working graveyard wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That being said, I kind of shot my wad a little bit. I am gonna have my trusty this on. Come on, there you go. While I talk, because it's just my thing now. I also need to get my charger because for some reason this live streaming sucks my battery dry. I'll be right back. Just getting everything up to snuff. And there you go. There. Now everything ought to work just fine. I had to switch out my Fire Stick for my Xbox One. Oh Jesus, it's going to be loud. I think it's going to be loud. And I'm sorry. I don't have a remote for my TV, so I have to change the volume manually. This is starting out great, don't you think? I keep having to leave. Oh, yeah. Oh, volume wasn't that bad. Good morning. Glad to see you. I thought start a live stream at 4:15 in the morning and watch, you'll get no viewers. I already have 3 people watching, and you can't even see my face that well. So, I don't know where I got the charge, but I just spent 2 hours shooting 2 really long vlog videos. This murder mystery series I'm doing, it's about a lot of cold cases and John Doe, Jane Doe type cases that have happened in Oregon. These videos are ending up being really long because there's a lot of times a lot of evidence to go over, and there's a lot of potential suspects, and especially in cases of John and Jane Doe's, there's lots of theories about who the victims might be. It's a lot of stuff. So I've now shot 4 videos for the series. The first one is like 30 something minutes, and the next 3 are like hovering around an hour. So a lot of substance. And yet, despite doing that for the last 2 hours, I then went and took a shower. Not my hair, though, because I didn't want to have soaking wet hair when I did go to sleep. But despite, doing that for the last 2 hours, I just decided, what the heck? I almost started doing a third one after getting out of the shower, and I was like, no, you're going to kill yourself. So I did what any warm-blooded American did. I found the next best thing to do. I don't know. Thank you. I love making longer videos. I mean, and it's not for the classic YouTube thing where it's like, the longer the videos are, the longer people might watch, the more, popular your channel may get. I mean, honestly, on my side, the videos end up just being as long as they kind of have to be. I just kind of go, and when I'm done, I'm done. So it's a simple system, and it's a system that works. But so while I was taking my shower, I was just starting to think about, well, of course, how much I miss going out regularly. I think we all can kind of agree on that. And I want to go out and vlog so bad, but I mean, and I'm worse off than a lot of people in terms of traveling because I don't have a car. So, if I want to travel around without bumming a ride from someone, which already is, not good social distancing, I'd have to take public transportation, and I ain't touching public transportation right now with a 50-foot pole. public transportation, I mean, I love TriMet in terms of it's really good for public transportation. We're really lucky in terms of how good it is, as much as we still complain about it, but especially the Max, which I'd have to take frequently. Long before coronavirus, it was a dirty environment. Um, so yeah, I just miss, ooh, or Orson Welles. Hell yes. A definite fan. One of the first noirs I ever saw was The Stranger, and it's still one of my favorites. I always got so confused about Orson Welles because he became a much more heavy set actor later in his career. And yet it's funny because, he did Citizen Kane in 41 when he was still pretty young, and so you get to see him when he's thinner. But then they had to show him as he was older, looking more heavy set, and then I got real confused because I saw The Stranger, which was done years later, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's thin again. Didn't he just become heavy set? So yeah, oh man. Ooh, my neck is a bit stiff, probably because I sat still staring at a camera, which I'm kind of doing right now. Ooh, I'm starting to feel it in my throat. This might be a short live stream. I'm already feeling the tugging at my. I can't even remember what they're called. My vocal cords. Yeah, I already did that phone call. Yeah, so I just figured while I'm playing a little bit, eventually I'll go to bed. I'll go to bed when I'm darn well good and ready. One of the first, and it was before I started my YouTube channel, one of the things I did was I was going to do a documentary called Hidden, no, it wasn't called Hidden Gems. It was just going to be called Gems of Portland. And it was where essentially I did little brief vignettes, 4 or 5 minute long videos on these locations that I think are really cool, that have major historical significance, but don't get the appreciation of, say, Pioneer Courthouse or Union Station, or these places that are really iconic landmarks, which of course I love those. But it's just like, I'm one of those guys that viscerally hates, like, whenever somebody's like, ways to go out and adventure in the Portland area. Here's a list of 10 things you can do, and it's always the 10 most predictable things. And I'm like, if I want a list like that, I want some obscure things. I want some things that when I read the list, I'm like, oh wow, I never thought about doing that before. I don't want a list where they're telling me to do a bunch of stuff I've already done 10 times. Oh, you're hanging out in Portland for a day? Go to Voodoo Donuts. Come on, man, that's not original. I mean, no disrespect towards Voodoo Donuts. I think they're overrated. I mean, they're fine, but it's, they're not God's gift to donuts as far as I'm concerned. Maybe, but I didn't come here to ramble about donuts. So this thing focused in on things that are definitely of historic significance, but are they're either just not really appreciated, or they're kind of hidden. Like there's a building it's simply called the Movie Building, as far as I know. And it's this really cool kind of Spanish architecture, and it's located in kind of near Old Town It's kind of between Old Town Albina and the Rose Quarter, kind of where there's a lot of industrial stuff. And it's down one of these side streets. There's just a bunch of it looks like kind of like warehouses, and there's always semi trucks pulling out. And there's this light blue building. I think there's a bike shop in there now, or at least there was a couple of years ago. And it's just this beautiful building, and it's hidden, amidst all this kind of bland, boring, and in some cases falling apart industrial architecture. And I just love it. And there's this I know that there used to be a lot of old film equipment kept there, and the guy that originally had the building created for his business, I forget, his business was they made I don't know exactly what it was, but they made pieces. I think they built things out of clay and things like that. And they would they made the pink elephants that were in the Oriental Theater. You see pictures of the old Oriental Theater, and there's these pink elephants. They did that. Those were made in that movie building by the guy that ran it. And that was part of his business. And I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that ran his business there in that building, he ended up falling into the Willamette River from the Hawthorne Bridge, and they don't know if he tried to commit suicide or if he was thrown in there by someone. There was apparently like claims that somebody heard someone screaming for help, and I think he drowned in the Willamette River. So it's kind of an interesting dark end to that tale. Yes. So I like, I never actually finished it. And a part of me is like, I really should go back and finish that, but I also just deleted about a third of all that footage. And one of the main reasons that I deleted it was because I needed room on my external hard drive. And here I had this footage that like it was nice to have, but I wasn't really using it for anything, and I needed the space. Because I could probably, I still burned like some of the vignettes like onto video, but now I've deleted a lot of it. So like, I guess I could still do it as a smaller video with just less pieces. But oh god, what was I going to say? Because I was going to mention something. Oh yeah, and as a part of that, because one of the things that really started me doing that was me and my girlfriend started having like daily walking around days. And I'm sorry, my whole time vlogging, I was having my itchy, dry nose thing. So there's going to be a lot of nose itching in this. That's kind of become a staple of these live streams, as my nose just dries up. But yeah, me and my girlfriend used to do these series of walking days. And we just walk around, and I would bring my DSLR and take pictures of buildings. And I didn't really know downtown Portland that well. So every building I saw in Old Town, I was like, oh, look at this cool building. Look at that. It was a kid in a candy shop. And in our ventures, a lot of places, we went and visited together. But there were some places that like we went together, and like I shot video for this thing. And it was like the first time I'd ever been there. And one of those places I went to was, I'd never been to the Delta Park area, and kind of east of west of Delta Park, and kind of the PIR area, and where the golf course is and all that up there, because that's, of course, where Vanport used to be. And I never walked through there before. And it was great because we went there, and I actually I only later found out that there's still remains of the old Vanport Theater there, because there's kind of going towards the golf course. There's some concrete still sticking out from the grass, and you can see where there's all these holes where bolts went in, and that's where seats were bolted down in the theater, and that's still out there. I ended up not finding that till my second time going out there, and I did a YouTube video on that. But we found these remains of something, like maybe it was somebody's extravagant backyard, or there was like a business down, because it's right by a like creek that goes through there, and it's like really kind of weathered old like cobblestone. And there's like stairs leading up from it, and there's like old brick wrapping around these trees. And it's obvious, it's very old. It's obvious it's something from the Vanport era, because nothing else has been developed out there since then. They in the 60s, they were going to turn that area, they were going to build a big football arena out there. That was their plan in the 1960s. And they ended up changing it. And when the city decided to pursue, we tried pursuing getting the 1968 Olympics. I just did a video about this. We tried getting the 1968 Olympics to Portland. And so we decided, aside from that, get out of the car. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, they were originally just going to put, it was going to be called the Delta Dome. It was going to be a dome stadio. And And I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. And sorry, multitasking. And now I lost my train of thought, completely lost it. I was talking about Vanport. The old remains there. I don't know. I completely lost it. Whoa, sorry, dude. I did not mean to do that. No, not you. Oh, okay, I just accidentally shot that guy. My bad. But yeah, it was great. It was great to see the area where Vanport was. Obviously it's. Oh yeah, I was talking about the '60s, and yeah, it was gonna be called the Delta Dome. It was gonna be a dome that was built in the Delta Park area. And building domes, that was still kind of a rare thing. There weren't really a lot of sports domes that were being made. Even in Seattle, like the King Dome didn't come along, I think, till like the '70s, if I'm right. And then the city changed their mind and decided, oh, we're going to turn this whole thing into an Olympic Village. But they decided way too late. They didn't grease enough palms with the selection committee, and Portland never really had a shot. That being said, for some reason, the selection committee picked Detroit. Which, why would you pick Detroit to have the Olympics at? But anyway, in the end, it ended up being in Mexico City. So, bleh. And then, kind of when the whole Olympics thing went south, the city was just kind of like, well, okay, I guess let's go back to making it a dome, doing the Delta Dome. But by that point, the Memorial Coliseum had been around for 5 years. That was supposedly going to attract some indoor sports team, like an NBA franchise, which, of course, the Blazers came along later. But at that point, we hadn't attracted anything. It didn't seem at that time like any pro sports team was really going to come to Portland. Pro sports didn't really start making a big westward expansion until the later '60s. So when we put up the Delta Dome to be voted on, people were like, well, we built the Memorial Coliseum and nothing's happening. Why should we give you more money to build a dome for another sport that's probably not going to happen? So the city voted down the Delta Dome, and that's why that never happened. And then just a little while later, NBA basketball finally was expanding westward. The Minneapolis Lakers moved to LA in 1960. By the late '60s, the Seattle Supersonics were founded, the Phoenix Suns were founded, the San Diego Rockets were founded. The Warriors had moved to San Francisco from Philadelphia. So by the late '60s, there was a major expansion of NBA teams out west. And finally, by 1970, Portland got their team. And the Memorial Coliseum finally had its, primary purpose. I remember going to the Shriner Circus almost every year at the Memorial Coliseum, and I would fall asleep. The only thing I liked about the Shriner Circus was the end, the big ending, which was a woman she would stand in the middle of a big, like, metallic globe type ball, and two guys on motorcycles would go around the inside of it and just circulate around her, and I would just be in awe of that. But other than that, I didn't really care. That's right. I remember hearing about how Portland briefly had a team. That's something for a video right there. The brief football team in Portland. Because I watched like a documentary that was done on like the Portland Mavericks baseball team, and how like Kurt Russell's dad, the actor, ran it, and Kurt Russell actually played on the team. I love that story. And it was one of those things where the team they were kind of like a renegade group of athletes, and the team was actually pretty good, and they were on the fringe of becoming like a really successful minor league program, and then they just got kicked to the curb. I forget, but I remember it being some really sketchy backdoor dealing type stuff that happened that ultimately quashed that dream. But yeah. Oh wait, and I saw pause so I don't hit anything. I saw a comment. Oh yeah, doing a history of Providence Park. I would definitely be I would definitely be interested in that because I've heard some crazy stories about way back when it was like Civic Stadium, I think is what it originally was, and it was just it was practically the quality of like a high school field at the time. And yeah, I remember hearing some. I have to go back and look at it, but like they would sometimes play the Civil War at Civic Stadium between Oregon and Oregon State, and I remember hearing some crazy stories about stuff that happened in some of those games, but I don't remember the stories offhand, off the top of my head. Oh boy, almost got hit by a tractor. But yeah, so anyway, backing up to Vanport, just it was nice to actually get to see the area where it all happened, and then kind of compare it to pictures. Oh, somebody's awake. I hope I didn't wake anybody up. My voice does carry. But anywho, see, I'm trying to remember some of these places. Well, I love it enough that I filmed a sequence for one of my movies that I did there, and it was a horrible. Well, in terms of the stress of it, the shoot went fine, but just the stress of the whole thing was horrible. I film I did like about a year and a half ago. I decided to shoot a chunk of it kind of in what is called like kind of the Grand Avenue historical area. It's just the east side of the Willamette River from downtown where all those old warehouses are and stuff. And there's, obviously the railroad tracks go through there because they were a lot of warehouses. And so, it made sense. And like now a lot of the roads are elevated and kind of go over them. And that's what I love those. I loved having the roads that went over, you'd have Belmont Street at ground level, but then you'd also have Belmont as you know, above it as well. And I just love the vibe of that. So I picked that area to use. And it was perfect because I wanted to use an area that looked kind of old and industrial, and that area was perfect. But I forgot about the damn trains, and we ended up having about 3 scenes we were supposed to shoot that day that we couldn't because we ran out of light. And one of the reasons we ran out of light was we lost easily an hour of shooting time because we would have to pause every time a train went by. And the thing is when a train goes by, it's not like when the train shows up you have to stop. You hear that train. Your sound person starts picking up that train like a mile away. So you have to wait for it to finish that mile approach, pass by, and then ultimately it has to pass and then get further enough down the tracks that you don't hear it anymore. There was at least, I think, 10 times we had to stop for a train. And each time that was like, several minutes that we lost. So it was just, ugh. So it was just so stressful. It made me look kind of inept as a filmmaker because I was like, oh, sorry, guys, I didn't plan for this. What are these guys? What's your problem? What are you screaming for, dude? Dude. Sorry, you shouldn't have threatened me. Running at me, and then weird stuff happens at this farm in this game. There's this little farmland, and just weird stuff happens. There's always someone getting abducted up here. I mean, there's plenty. It's GTA. There's plenty of dark elements, but yeah. Ooh, whoa, who's shooting at me? Come on, redneck farmer, show yourself. There you at. You can't be coming at me like that, man. And just for that, I'm gonna I'm gonna knock your. Uh-oh. The cops saw me not. I mean, all right, fair enough. You guys got to do what you got to do. I did shoot that person's mailbox, and that's a big no-no. You don't shoot other people's mailboxes. That is prohibito. Muy prohibito. Yeah, so if you're going to film outdoor exteriors and you're on a time crunch, don't film in an area where there's a freaking train that has to keep passing through. Don't film near railroad tracks. unless you're certain those railroad tracks aren't even being used anymore. And then it can have kind of a nice aesthetic background for you. Oh, God, I think my tire just got shot out. Well, you do the best you can. Yeah. Oh, man, this is no good. This is no good. This is no good. I'm being chased. Welcome to the city. And one of my favorites, no discussion of underappreciated places is complete without talking about Harlow Block, which is a building. Oh, hello, officer. Harlow Block is it's kind of where Chinatown and the Pearl kind of start to meet. It's like at Gleason and it might be Gleason and Broadway, I think. And it's this old brick building. It was built in 1882. It was very old. And it recently got a total facelift. It looks fantastic. Most of the windows were either broken out or boarded up. And it just, it was vacant since like the 70s, I want to say. So it had just been sitting there with nothing going on for literally decades. And wow, I got shot while in the car. And yeah, they just recently, I really want to stay there, but it's like really expensive, which is kind of annoying. I mean, I understand it's Portland, but you see, that place was founded as an affordable hotel. It was called the Harlow Hotel originally. It was founded by a guy named John Harlow, who was actually from Portland, Maine, and somehow ended up in Portland, Oregon. And I want to say, like, he founded the city of Troutdale, I heard. I heard that he was, like, responsible for that. But, yeah, it was founded as a place, as, like, affordable. It's supposed to be affordable hotel space. And, sorry. It was supposed to be an affordable hotel. And, they fixed it up and they were like, we're going to fix it up and we're going to have it be in the spirit of the old hotel. And, it's like an arm and a leg to stay there. I mean, it's not as bad as other places, but like, I really want to stay there at least one night just because like I could say I stayed at the old Harlow Block now that you can actually like go in there again. And, it's hard. Like, I really want to do that, but I also don't want to blow a lot of money just so I can say, oh, I stayed at this hotel. I mean, if I had the money regularly, yeah, I'd dive in and do it. But unfortunately, that's just not a situation that is easy. Like, it's one of those things like, yeah, I can do it, but I kind of got to really suck it up and deal financially. And it's just not, I just wish it wasn't as expensive as it is. I'll probably still do it at some point because I just have to. It's like a bucket list item at this point. Yeah, and so like the first time I saw it was when it was still like boarded up and stuff. So I've got video of it when it was just, all run down and boarded up and hadn't been used in decades. And I've gotten at least a little bit of video and a couple of pictures since its completion because, when I'm doing videos in downtown, inevitably I'm gonna wander past it. But of course, that was one of my favorite buildings, and one of my most favorite buildings in Portland is gone now, and I'm still pissed about it, like almost 3 years later. Because I think it was like late summer 2017. I want to say it was 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. They demoed the old Workman's Temple. I think it was on 3rd and Taylor, the beautiful old brick building. And it was so annoying because like the people that put the big ugly hotel in there, which by the way, there's a hotel directly across the street, so don't tell me you had to put a hotel there. The hotel is ugly, and the people that like worked on it were like, yeah, a lot of us are local Portlanders and we tried everything we could to try to, keep that place open and incorporate the hotel and whatnot. And I'm like, and now I see the hotel they put there, and it's like at least 2 times larger than the Workman Temple was. So I'm like, shut up. You were not going to work that into there because the building wasn't big enough to begin with, and you knew that. But, you know, they did their damage control, talking about, oh, like, well, we tried to do something around it. And I was just like, yeah, right. And I went out there at least 5 times and shot video of it intermittently as it was gradually being demolished, because it was a really big building, so it took a really long time to demolish. But they also had to stop work on it for like a week because of the big Eagle Creek fire. That it was so big that there was smoke just all over Portland, and like it wasn't even safe for the workers to be out there. And yeah, I got so lucky. I have a few pieces of that building, and I got them in my closet. I'm so happy that I have those little pieces because okay, well, first thing is, and you see this in the videos that I did. So if you go and look at some of those videos, you can see when I actually got these pieces. I was actually videoing it, you know, intermittent, and I'd done it enough, and I'd posted them that one of the construction workers recognized me. And he was like, "Oh, you're Steve." And I was like, "Oh, you know me by my first name. Well." And he was like, "Yeah, it really sucks that we have to that we're having to demo this building. And I really appreciate that you're videoing it. So, at least for some form of, to have some memory there." And I was like, "Yeah, no, my pleasure." And I was like, "Yeah, hey, could I?" Because literally oh shit, I just got blown up. Because literally right behind the guy was a massive pile of bricks that had been just knocked down, because it was a predominantly brick structure. And I was like, "I'd love to grab a couple of bricks if I could." And he was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And he brought me 2 bricks from the building, which I still have. In fact, you know what? While I'm here. Oh my god, this box is so heavy. I'm gonna get a bunch of friggin' brick dust all over the place too. Yeah, this is a box. Like, you'd be amazed how heavy 2 bricks are. And so I went to a 7-Eleven to get something to drink, and I was like, "Do you guys have a bag or something I can grab to throw these bricks in?" They probably thought I was crazy. And the 7-Eleven gave me this box. It's like a wine box. So I was able to put oh good, everything's in here. Oh my god, I'm gonna get brick dust all over my fingers. Now, yeah, the old Workman Temple was built in 1892. It was a beautiful old building. So, if it was still up, it'd be almost 130 years old. And the guy went back there and grabbed me 2 bricks. These are original bricks from, these are bricks that were made in the early 1890s. And they're 2 bricks from the building itself. So I was super grateful that I got those. But I went back 1 or 2 more times, and I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that same guy that gave me those bricks walked up to me, and he had this box. He had this box right here, and he was like, "I got something for you." And I was like, "Is it more bricks?" And he's like, "No." And he opened it up. And I don't know how well it's going to show up in the light, but this is an old piece of cast iron, because there were a couple cast iron little columns in the front of the building, and they went up to these big circular supports at the top, and this is a chunk off of one of those circular supports. So it's this beautiful pink piece of cast iron that was, broken off when they were knocking the building down. So the guy just, he was literally like, "You take this or I'm taking it to the dump with everything else." And I was like, "I'll take it." So I am Oh, I just don't know how to get it back in the box. But I am so happy and so grateful to have both of these pieces. I wish I wanted to. I saw you mention the Lotus Room because of course that got demolished, and that was perpendicular on the same block as um, the um, the temple. And I shot 2 videos too that are on my channel of them while they were demoing the Lotus too, because that's major history too. Not too much brick dust. I think over time there's less and less of it that slips out of the box. Yeah, like I really wanted to, but I wanted to also see if I could grab some bricks from the Lotus when I was there, but unfortunately, when I was there, they were always in the middle of doing like super demolition. Like there was always only like 2 construction guys. One guy was guiding the other guy, and the other guy was just knocking stuff down. So I really didn't have an opportunity to actually like walk up to someone and say, "Hey, can I get a couple of bricks?" He'd be like, "Nah, kid, get the hell out of here." So okay, sorry I asked, but at least I got some video of them demoing everything. So, I guess I'm grateful for that. And it was just, yeah, it was just a really great, I mean, if you can get something great out of something sad like that, it was really great to get those pieces. And I'm glad that that guy thought of me, because I didn't even ask. I asked for the brick. I didn't ask to also get a piece of cast iron. And yeah, he was just like, either you take this or it's getting thrown away. I'm like, I'm taking it. Thank you. And it was one of these beautiful buildings that just kind of sat there by itself. A lot of people, and you could tell, like a lot of when I went there to video, a lot of people you would stop and look, and you could tell it was like this building that a lot of people hadn't paid much attention to, and now they were watching it as it was slowly being torn down. And they keep bit by bit chiseling away at Old Town Portland, and I freaking hate it. So they can build this new ugly garbage. Because the Workman Temple and the Lotus, that was kind of like the, eastern edge of like Old Town. And now that's gone. That whole block is, well, except for the auditorium that's still there. And then, like right across the street to the north of where the, temple used to be, there's, it's called the Leon Chung Company building, and it's the building where there's like a restaurant in there, and it's the really old brick building. It was built in like the 1880s, and I'm like, I wonder how long it's going to be before that thing gets torn down. They just keep encroaching further and further into Old Town with their new crap. And I understand new buildings need to be built at times, but nobody's going to tell me Portland needed another luxury hotel so badly that we had to demo that great old temple building instead of reworking it into another building of purpose when there was already a luxury hotel that had been built directly across the street like a year earlier. Don't tell me you need your new hotel. Oh man, I'm getting real sore right here. I'll probably go, it's 4:53 in the morning, and I am just evading the police. I just drove right over the top of your cop car. That's the benefit of me having a van and you having, well, a cop car. Oh, there's a lot of you. What's up, gentlemen? What's the score, fellas? Yeah, I'm also glad that the Albert, that was another thing that was going to be, I was going to do a little section that was going to be a combination of video of the Albers Mill and then the Centennial one that's kind of just been sitting there, and they keep saying they're going to demolish it and make a park, but still there's parts of it that are still sitting there. And I'm a major fan of old, forgotten, abandoned remains being left alone, even though, they do take up space and I can see why people eventually tear them down. I still have a soft spot for them. Like, I love the Lateral House, the small little community of Lateral in the Columbia Gorge, and that, like, family home that's right across the street from Guy Talbot Park. I've done a video where I go there with my friend a couple years ago, and yeah, it's like the Lateral family home. And it's also like been abandoned since like the 70s, and it's just completely rotting away, and they're being respectful. They're letting it just slowly die away, on its own. And it's like, it's barely standing. There's no trespassing signs on the house, which is good because if you went in there, you could probably make a room collapse on you. Um, so yeah, so it's probably good that nobody tries to actually go in there. As much as I would love to try, under different circumstances. It's just good times. It's just good old times. And yeah, I still wish me and my friend. I mean, he lives in Seattle. He comes back to town from time to time, but it's a bummer because we were kind of getting on this move of like starting to have like a buddy exploration thing together, and it kind of just didn't happen. And now he lives in Seattle and I live up here, and it's just it's hard to even hook up and do stuff. And he lives way up there, I live way over here, and it's just and like yeah, it is what it is. We'll hopefully get to do some exploration stuff again someday soon, and when it becomes more okay for people to kind of just start going out and doing whatever again. Again, as a guy without a car, fortunately, my girlfriend tends to like she obviously loves going and exploring places like this with me, and her mom loves it too. So every now and then we're able to convince her and some of the family to go some fun place and explore, and that I can get some more content for my channel. We are in like 10 days. We're going to Sun River. I've never been to Sun River before. We're gonna still social distance. We're not gonna we've been living at home as a family, so it's not like going somewhere together is gonna put us at risk. So we're aware of what we're doing. So, but yeah, we're gonna go get bougie. We were gonna go to Sun River, I think, like last year, and it ended up falling through. And I've never been there, never been well to do enough. So that's something else. I'm definitely gonna shoot some video while we're out there. So that'll be fun. But we're also we're gonna make sure we're social distancing. We're not gonna be hanging out with people. But there's just miles and miles of trails out there to explore again while social distancing, and I'm just really excited about. I mean, for one thing, actually getting out of the house, but doing it in a way that we're not like endangering other people or anything like that. Because I still think a lot of places are opening things up way too early. And I understand businesses are closing and it's a frustrating situation, but I just think it's gonna make in certain areas, it's gonna make the thing null and void because too many people, and it would be nice if people could be responsible. And it's like as stuff starts opening, you realize you need to still be cognizant of what's going on and still be smart. But people just aren't doing that. People just, you know, they say, oh, restrictions are getting lifted. That means there's absolutely nothing wrong. There's nothing to be concerned about anymore. It's like, well, no, it's just things are a little bit better, a little bit, you can trust the conditions a little bit better, but you still got to be smart. Don't be hanging out with a lot of people. We're talking about a virus that can take almost 2 weeks to show up. So you're never going to know when you have it. And, I mean, I'm getting sick of talking about the coronavirus stuff, but just still, I'm just kind of, yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna be smart about all that. But yeah, I'm really excited about the prospect of going to a place like that I've never been to before. That is also just so much outside of the norm of places I go to, things that I do. Mm. Yeah, that's true. I love though, as far as like the ghost signs and old ads that are on the sides of buildings. That was like the one good thing to come out of like when they demolished. Um, it was like the little one-story building that was behind. it was like next to the auditorium that was by the Lotus, and it was behind the temple when the temple was still there. And when they demolished that little one-story building behind the temple, it revealed an old like room for rent, I think it was, advertising sign that had been on the side of that auditorium, but had been blocked off because that one-story building was there. And now that that building was gone, there was suddenly that sign was revealed behind like the side of it. And I got a little bit of video of that too, because I'm like, well, this probably hasn't been seen in like how long? You know, decades. So that was a fun little thing to see. I appreciated that. And yeah, you know, even with the random types of people you can stumble onto, I love walking through Old Town. You just got to keep your eyes open, because you never know who's going to be loitering behind you or lingering around you, and you don't even know it. Those of you that have had to walk through downtown know what I'm talking about. And it's, see, I'm trying to think of some other spots. I mean, my throat is pretty much, oh, I just got thrown from my bike. I mean, my throat's pretty shot as it is, so I'm probably gonna cut myself off pretty soon. I could tell I wanted to kind of keep going, but I didn't really want to start a whole new vlog video, so I just thought, hang out and just live stream for a little bit. It's 4:30 a.m. Probably not a whole lot of. Why is there just a car out here, and the owners aren't here? This is some missing person stuff. The things you find while you play GTA. I know there's places I need to think of. Well, and of course, I love the Tudor Arms. The Tudor Arms is an old, well, it's a Tudor style apartment that's like, I think it's like in the Alphabet District, kind of the west end of Portland, like west of downtown and all that. And it's a really beautiful building. I think there's like a missing persons case in relation to that. There's like a girl that disappeared a while back. But of course, what it's most known for is it was reportedly in 1946 and 47, it was a place that Bugsy Siegel and Mickey Cohen would hide out in. And there's actually on the building, there's like a little plaque in representation of that says that he stayed at, you know, in this such and such a room here. So I'm like, that's awesome. That's some good old fashioned history. Why are there campfires burning on the beach, but nobody's here? Put out your campfires, you bastards. You're going to burn the beach down. Yeah, so that's another place that I really love is the Tudor Arms. And there's an interesting story I found that I did another video on a while back where there used to be a house there where it stood, and there was like I can't remember if he was like a senator or like he was like a local politician, and his wife was like a religious zealot, and she started like a starvation cult, and she ended up dying because she starved herself and just got sickly. Portland, you know? Portland was weird long before we made Portland weird. I also love, like, you know, we still have a few of our older movie theaters, but all the old movie palaces are all long gone. And I did a video a while back with my girlfriend, and I cringe a little at it because there was so many things that weren't quite accurate in it, but it was more a video for fun. And it was a video where I didn't really have, you know, some you just couldn't find the exact location for places, but I did a video where I walked around downtown with my girlfriend looking for at least the block where these old iconic movie palaces used to be. You know, and obviously, you know, there's the Orient on the other side of the river. But yeah, and then I did another video where I was doing, and a lot of those theaters were still around, but I was doing a video about where, you know, all the other old movie theaters are in Portland outside of those that were in downtown. So, you know, like the one in Alberta, the Irvington, Yeah, there's like the old Selwood one that's now like a Columbia sportswear store. Just all those old ones. And it's actually fun looking back on those. And I think my girlfriend gave me an idea that I might do, like in addition to those videos that I've already done. That's like a kind of look, because back in the, like, now it's just movies play at movie theaters, you know. But it used to be, certain theaters were owned and operated and run by certain studios. So, certain movies would only play at certain theaters back in the day. So there was actually, significance about, where a given movie. And my girlfriend was thinking, like, maybe I could try figuring out like where certain theaters were, and then which, studios they mostly worked through those theaters. So, like, I could find out which specific theaters in Portland played Citizen Kane, which one specifically played Casablanca or Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, Sunset Boulevard, whatever you want as far as, classic film. And I really think that would be a lot of fun. And because I have this newspaper archive I can go through, I can literally, go through old newspapers and find old listings that'll say, oh, this movie's out now. Watch it at the whatever theater. So I could actually do that, and it wouldn't be that complicated. So maybe that video is not too far around the corner. Possibly. Do what you do. You do you. I hate that term. I hate it when people say, I agree with it, but I just hate it. It's one of those sayings that's absolutely right and accurate, and there's nothing bad about it. But at the same time, I think it's so pretentious. So I cringe when I say it. So I guess I say it ironically. Even though I think people who always say I do this ironically are also pretentious. I can't win. That's the problem. I can't win. Oh, almost went off the road. I got an itch. Yeah, Northeast Portland. Well, yeah, I know there's like, is it the Rose Way? There's a Rose something theater. That's one of the few I never got to. One of the theaters that I'm really glad I got to, because they finally altered the sign, and it's covered up and it's been like painted, and so it's altered, was on 82nd, just north of Division, is where Eastgate Theater was, which was, as I understand it, Portland's first multiplex theater. And it's now like a Slavic church. And the old sign that says Eastgate is still there. But again, it's been like painted over, so you can't even really make out the Eastgate letters. And for that video series I did, which was, I don't know, like 2.5 years ago, something like that, I actually got a little bit of video of that sign when you could still make out the Eastgate letters. So I'm really glad that I did that when I did, because now you go back and it's like, yeah, the sign's there, but you can't even make out the letters anymore. So yeah, I was glad. I was glad that I got some video of that before, because I didn't know they were going to alter it, but it ended up happening. It's one of the reasons why, like, if I want to get a video of something, I'm like, I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it, because you never know when someone's going to come and change it, or a place is going to get torn down. Especially in Portland, that's just the norm. In Portland, everything gets broken down or torn down. So you got to be prepared. You got to get to the building before the building gets you. Doesn't really work in these circumstances. And I also love how, what was it, Barber Block, which is on Grand Avenue, is this beautiful building. It's mostly kind of a yellow color now, and it was like, it had like an undertaking business in there, but it also was like an early Nickelodeon theater thing. And some jackass last year ran his little spiffy sports car through the entry of it, and just kind of messed it all up. God, you messed up my ramp, you dick. I was going to hit this ramp and go flying in the air, and then right as I got there, some guy pulls right in front of me. It's all your fault. Why do you have to ruin my life? Okay, everybody get out of my way, because I'm going to hit this jump, and I think I'm going to go flying into the river, so this is maybe not the best idea. Hallelujah. Oh, I screwed. Oh no, it takes you down by this area. Okay. A little anticlimactic because it didn't throw me in the water and it wasn't that exciting. So yeah, I'm just glad that there's still, because I started thinking like, pretty early on, like I feel like I'm running out of stuff to do videos on. And then I realized that, it's not about how many different new places you can find to do videos at. It's about how many new stories you can tell with the places that you have. So, I'll go back. There's certain times I've gone back to the same spot several times because there's a new story to be told about such and such a place, which is really nice because it makes it a lot easier to just, I want this channel to be, predominantly a Portland/Oregon channel because that's what I am. I'm a Portlander my whole life. I'm an Oregonian my whole life. And obviously I go outside of my parameters at times, but I want that to be the focal point of this channel, is stuff that's focused on my little corner of the world because, I love seeing videos of people going around other cities that I've never been to, hearing stories about. I do a lot of crime stories, a lot of murder stories. Well, I'm always interested when I see people do stories similar to mine, even if they take place in places I've never been to. It's a chance to learn more about places you've never been to. And for people that have never been to Portland, this is a place they can come to get, content about the city and about its history. And, and then I get something out of that too. And in addition to people that have never been here, people that are here can come and see it and either be like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened, or watch it and be like, oh man, such and such happened in that building. I've driven by that building every day for 30 years. Didn't know that happened, and that's the good stuff, is those types of moments. So, that's, in addition to the fact that I enjoy doing it, that's part of the reason why I really do it, is just, I really enjoy it. And, it's something that other people can enjoy. So it's a win-win. Oh, speaking of well, I don't know if this is going to be a win-win. I just hit a ramp and I think I'm going to crash into a wall and probably kill myself. You can make it. You can make it. You can make it. Oh, I guess I'll be okay. Yeah, I'll be okay. Yeah, dang right. That was a completed stunt jump. You know why? Because I'm a god. In fact, I'm such a god, I'm going to steal this airplane. Game clip recorded. I didn't do anything that great. Yes, I agree. Portland was a very rough town. I particularly love like well, in general, I love like 60s history. 50s a little bit, but 60s and 70s history. I love that stuff. And it's like one of my favorite eras of film is, or at least it's not really a genre, it's more just a time and a type, is probably my favorite type of film is 70s crime dramas. I love the way that the films are made. I love how rough and gritty they are. They're just the best. Even the ones that are kind of mediocre, I still absolutely love. I'm talking French Connection, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Just Serpico. It's just the best. That's probably why Martin Scorsese is one of my favorite directors. Every time I see it, a little bit more and more, Taxi Driver becomes more and more. Oh geez, I'm gonna die. Get out. Throw it. Oh man, I just saved myself. Oh nope, never mind. Yep, I still died because I literally had to leap out of a burning plane. You gotta do what you gotta do. Is the sun starting to come up yet? Or at least the sky bright? Ah, it's only 5. Hey, I'm about to hit an hour. I honestly didn't think I was gonna hit an hour. Yeah, I think I want to do a live stream one time where I just talk about 70s crime drama films. Here I am, I'm a filmmaker, I love film history, and yet I don't really talk about it that much on my channel. I really want to do a video on filming locations for Portland Expose, which was like a noir that was done in like 57, and a lot of it was filmed inside the old Pacific Coast Biscuit Company building, which is the building that infamously had a swastika on it until the mid-90s, before someone finally was like, yeah, we should probably paint over that swastika, or get rid of it. I did a video on that too, because it's a really distinct building, and it used to be Pacific Coast Biscuit Company worked out of there, and then Nabisco won the Cracker War, if you can call it that, and they ended up getting bought out, and they just kind of didn't do anything with the building, and it turned into a garage, and it's still a garage to this day. But yeah, there's pictures even from the 90s where you can still see the old, because, before the Nazis came along and, ruined just about everything, the swastika was, business. A lot of businesses used the swastika because it was a representation of, like purity and power. Oh God, now I know why they used it for purity. Jesus. So, before the Nazis came along, it was, a normal type of thing to use. But now that's drastically changed. Just nobody told the biscuit company people, like, hey, you should probably paint it. Like, seriously, the moment we went into World War II, that swastika should have been gone. Even earlier than that. But, whatever. Took them an extra 55 years to finally guess. I think like 96 was when they finally got rid of it. Somewhere in there. Just, I don't know how, because it wasn't exactly hidden. I don't know how it took so long to get rid of that. You think somebody would have gotten pissed and started a massive grassroots movement to get rid of that. And then, the people that own the building would be like, you don't need to do a big grassroots movement. Like, it's a swastika. We'll get rid of it. Why does this building have an Enron-esque logo in front of their building? That's frightening. Man, let me go into your building. You suck. Oh, God, I bet. Good old Portland architecture. That's the best, or at least it used to be. I don't know where I'm even driving now. I guess, you just kind of do what you do. I'm kind of not really coherent anymore. I think my girlfriend's stepdad is probably going to come downstairs and take a shower pretty soon. He usually showers around 5, and I hear someone walking around. He's going to come downstairs and be like, just doing some live streaming an Xbox. Yep, called it. I think I lost a tire. Yeah, something ain't right. And I think it's my vocal cords. Oh, man. Sorry, buddy. I did not mean to do that. Pick it up. He's running away. Take his bike. All right, buddy. Get out of the way. Get out the way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other stuff, but it's also, I'm heading into a very exhaustive state, so the idea of thinking of more things to talk about is like it's like a kick right to the forehead. But even when I go to sleep at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, I still feel like I sleep pretty deep and pretty well. It's not when you're sleeping, it's how you're sleeping. I don't know if that's medically accurate, but it just sounded good at the time. Oh, snap. I think I'm going to try a good old-fashioned mission that I used to. Oh wait, do I have one? Oh, I have 1 star, so I can't. Oh no, it's when I'm doing a mission that I can't change. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a fun little replay of a mission, and then I'm probably gonna call it a night. Of course, I'll keep talking because I got to get through it. Caída Libre. There we go. That's the one. Yeah, and I also, something I want to do, because I started doing it more when my dry eye started happening, and I started. Oh, I can't take your truck. Interesting. I started doing therapy walks, which started as just like I need to get out of the house and get some air while my headaches were going on. But I really enjoyed it because I really started discovering more of like Southwest Portland, places like that. And like I know nothing of the West Side, and it always intrigued me that here I am, a lifelong Portlander who's in his 30s, and I know practically nothing west of downtown. And so I started exploring, you know, more and more. I started, walking around Southwest Portland and Tigard and Tualatin. I want to expand out, and I'd love to spend a day in Forest Grove, because the buses make it that far, and just, doing all that stuff. So I want to kind of do some more of those where it's just kind of impromptu. I end up where I end up, doing a little bit more of that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And I kind of contemplated doing that a little bit before, we all got quarantined. But I keep, when I'd consider doing that, I decide, nope, I'm going to do some more Historic Murders of Portland episodes, which of course I'm fine. Content is content. By the way, I have about 30 more cases that are just, the newspaper articles are just sitting there waiting for me to take the info down. So I'm going to probably have at least 2 more seasons of Historic Murders of Portland before I'm going to just be too burnt out on it to do any more episodes. But that'll be coming at some point, once I can get out of the house regularly. But yeah, going to Sun River will be nice. We didn't agree to a fee for this job. I just love this. This is probably my favorite mission because you have to chase a plane that's going down on a dirt bike, and you have to like fly through hills and stuff, and it's just beautiful landscapes, little dirt biking. It's so much fun. The haunted. Oh, the haunted forest. Isn't that the one? That's the one that supposedly has the angry guy, like the urban legend about the angry guy that finds you and beats the crap out of you. If that's what I remember, like me and my girlfriend. I mean, obviously, if I was actually in the forest, I probably wouldn't think it's so funny, but we just laugh mercilessly at that story because it's just so entertaining. Like, you go to this forest and there's this guy out there waiting to beat the crap out of you until I find out that it's like a true story. And then I just feel guilty that this guy beat the crap out of a bunch of people. I mean, as far as like urban legends go, that one is just too hilarious to ignore. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna be spreading a little bit, spreading my parameters just a little bit more, and seeing more of the West Side because I haven't done it really. All right, come on, plane. I'm getting so close. Zoom out. I can't. Why aren't you zooming out? Okay, well, I'm screwed. I'm going to have to redo it. I tried. I'm so hitting the mark perfectly. Oh, still got him. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to go out there alone either, just in case. But yeah, I love that. Oh man, here we go. Boy on his motorcycle. I just love this mission. I can't help it. So yeah. So I definitely, one thing being stuck inside for a couple of months teaches you is you really want to go see places. Of course, I love local urban legends. I love the story of Bandage Man. I have a friend I work with who's really skittish, and she was talking about going to like the area part of the Oregon coast where the Bandage Man story is most prevalent. And I was like, so have you heard about Bandage Man? And she was like, what? It's like, yeah, Bandage Man. It's like this guy who's apparently all wrapped up in bandages, and he just jumps on the back of your car and menaces you. That's not fine. That wouldn't make me piss myself. Not at all. I mean, those kind of stories are the best. I don't care what anybody says. The landing ain't gonna be. I've never made it all the way through this without wiping out at least once. So this is impressive that I'm making it all the way. Come on, crash your plane, you jackass. Granted, I'm not done yet, so I don't know why. I'm just assuming I'm not going to crash now. Crash your plane, you bastard. I'm tired of your games. Oh no, this is the bad part where I got to jump the train. Okay, all right. I jumped the train. Good work, bro. Just don't let that cactus murder you. I'm trying to think if there's anything like that in Portland in terms of. I know there are. It's just I'm brain dead at this point, and I'm trying to think of like any like fun stuff like that that's happened in Portland. Stuff like that. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing. My tank is on E. I still haven't been to the Shanghai tunnels, and I get a lot of crap for that. How could you call yourself a historian and not seen the? No, there we go. I got thrown from the bike. I can't get through this mission without getting thrown from the bike once. I stopped paying attention. We ought to get paid. Ooh, muddy. Get out of the muddy. All right, get up to that place. There's going to be a dude standing in front. Hey, what's up, partner? Silence Javier. What did he do? Sorry, bruh. You try. Is that bulletproof glass? Oh man, that's awesome. I love Forest Park. I did a really long video. I mean, I've talked about it before, but yeah, one of my favorite videos that I've done in terms of how it was all encompassing was I did a video. I even think I talked about it like on a recent live stream. Was the murder of Larry Payton and Beverly Allen, who went up into. They were kind of on the southern edge of Forest Park, and someone obviously attacked him. He was murdered, left for dead in the car. Beverly Allen was found several days later, abandoned along the side of the highway on the way to the beach, pretty much. And Whoa, what's this guy doing? And so, yeah, I love me some Forest Park. I've seen not quite every part of it, but I've seen just about every nook and cranny of good old fashioned Forest Park, and I love it. Sorry, I'm multitasking. Come on, you gotta shoot yet. Get yourself together. Gotta get yourself together. Come on. There we go. Blow up, you bastard. And wait, there we go. Good job, man. You blew up. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Of course, I believe about 6% of what they tell in the stories about the Shanghai tunnels. If I did it, it'd be more of like, it'd be more like the classic historical aspect of like going under these really cool old buildings and seeing what it looks like under would be my primary motivation for ever doing the Shanghai tunnels thing. And like they used to claim that like the White Eagle Saloon also had a place where they would grab people and Shanghai them and sneak them. Um, didn't they like sneak them? They were supposed to have like been able to sneak them under the Willamette River to the other side where the more well-known actual tunnels are. Just you know, it's a fun little myth, but I mean, I certainly think there to a degree people were getting shanghaied because that was happening, but you know, my understand as I understand it is that those tunnels were more than anything they were used to transport goods. That that it was as simple as that. Like all the buildings under there connected because they would take goods in coming off of ships rolling into the Willamette, off the Willamette, and you could if you had a building, you know 3 or 4 buildings down, like people could just walk through the tunnels and you could, one quick motion, you could get all your stuff where it needed to go. And that's pretty much it. It's mostly just food and supplies type stuff, or I mean, whatever your business is selling, food, appliances, whatever. Mm. Yeah, that's cool. That's a little piece of history that I find very interesting. Mm. Well, I've been going for an hour and 17 minutes and I'm starting to lose my focus. And I think I'm finally ready for bed. I think I'm finally ready. So, thank you, some of you, for coming out here and hanging out with me for a for this little bit over an hour of fun. And yeah, I do these from time to time, maybe once or twice a week. Um, a lot of times just me having fun. Other times is just doing, there might be a little bit more planned out, a little more structured, but it's a lot more fun when you're just doing it for fun. That being said, I'm gonna crash and boom. Oh, that was kind of anticlimactic. Well, whatever. We'll end there. Anyway, thanks for showing up, and till next time. This has been Steve, the amateur historian. End the stream. It won't end.